Hey guys, Shot here. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to use local LLMs. And let me explain what this is, right? Just really quick. And this is part of a series about how to make AI, how AI works, and how to use AI. So watch my first two videos to kind of get understanding of how this series works. If you're hopping in and want a quick answer, this will help you out too, okay? So let me explain first what a local LLM model is and what that means and how to use them and how to download them on your computer. So everyone's used to ChatGPT, right? Everyone knows and recognizes this thing, right? This is not locally. You have to have internet to use this, and it goes to OpenAI, the company that owns ChatGPT. It goes to their computers, and then you talk to it. So your computer and their computer talk to each other to get the information you want. So when I say hi, this hi is from my computer. This thinking sends it to their computer, and now their computer sends this back to me. Hey, what's up? Okay, that's the basic system how this talking happens, right? Cool. A local LLM, and an LLM is pretty much ChatGPT, Claude, Siri, like all these. Siri's not LLM, but ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Meta's AI called Llama. All those are LLMs. Okay. Now, locally means that it's downloaded on your computer and you're using it on your computer, and only you can use that model that's on your computer. An example of this is CDs. Remember CDs? So I'll give four examples to make sure everyone understands. Music CDs, right? That itself is like a local model. When you take the CD and you put it into your computer and you play the music, or you put it into your car, you play the music, that music file only belongs to you. It's local. But when you listen on the radio, listening on the radio is kind of, wow, that was some loud behind thunder. Sorry about that. When you listen to music on the radio, that's essentially like kind of like how ChatGPT works on the internet right now. Another example is video games. When you play online video games, you're playing on their servers. When you download games for like Xbox, Steam, all that kind of stuff, it's on your local computer, and you're not playing online. It's like one player, just you. You're playing by yourself on this computer. That's like a local model, right? And the last example, I'll give one more example. The last example is like teaching. When you go to school, when you go to a physical college class to learn the information, that's like the online situation, right? Like you have to go do a particular thing. You have to go somewhere else to get it, and then you go back home and then you study it, right? You leave your house, go to school, learn information, go back home, study to do the homework, right? That's kind of like that, but it's different when it's like a local model. It's kind of like having a teacher come to your house and teach you at your house. That's kind of the best way to explain it for someone that has no technical knowledge of anything I'm talking about. Okay, so just to give you an idea, so a local model, so you can download ChatGPT, the same model it's using, you download it on your PC and run it on yourself. The benefits of this include things like privacy, like they don't get your information. So if you ask it a stupid question that's super inappropriate or sexy or dumb, or like you're embarrassed to ask it and you think they're gonna use the information, whatever, you don't have that problem with local because all the information stays on your computer what you ask it. Second is it can work without internet. So if your internet shuts off or doesn't work, it can work without internet. Third benefit of it is you can make apps with it. You can make a lot of apps with these local models. You can send these apps to the people and they can use these apps, right? If they download your app, the local model's on that app. They don't have to download anything. It's part of the app itself, right? So you can sell it and things like that as well, right? And depending on the situation, it might be faster or slower than ChatGPT itself, right? Depending on the hardware that you have. If you have a really weak computer, it might take a while to produce output. If you have a really really good computer, it might be faster than ChatGPT's output, right? Like how fast it says the information. But the thing is, there's some setup required. So to use these local models, you need to have a proper setup. Okay. And now I'm gonna show you a video about how to set it up, and I'm gonna skip around to the parts that's important to you so you don't waste your time. Okay.
In this short video, I'll teach you everything you need to know to get up and running with Ollama, which is a fantastic free open source tool that allows you to manage and run LLMs locally.
Ollama is a great tool. It lets you download local LLM models to your PC and then use them.
Rather than having to pay for ChatGPT or use these hosted services online, you can actually run all of these models locally on
I forgot to say, also, it's free. When you download them and use them from your computer yourself, you use it for free.
your own computer, so you get privacy, security, and best of all, they are completely free. So with that in mind, let me show you how to set this up, get it running, and I'll also explain to you how you can utilize this through code, because Ollama provides an HTTP server, which means you can call your models from really any type of application. So first things first, we
don't worry about that. Really, we're not worried about that in this video. If you know what that stuff means, go crazy with it. Watch that part. I'm gonna skip it. But if you're not technically savvy or you don't care about HTTP calls, then don't worry about that. We're gonna skip that part.
You need to install Ollama. So to do that, you can go to the website, which is ollama.com. I will link it in the description, and you can simply press on download and then select your operating system. In my case, I'm using Windows, but of course you have the command for Linux and then the installation for Mac. Now, once that's downloaded, simply double click it and install it, and then I'll show you the next step. So once you've installed Ollama, there's a few different ways to run it. First of all, you can just open the desktop application. So if you're on Windows, you can go here to the search bar and just search for Ollama. If you're on Mac, you can simply go to the Spotlight search, same for Linux, and just run the application. Now, when you do that, nothing's going to appear on your screen. And the reason for that is this just starts a backend server that's running the Ollama service. Now, the other way to do this is to open up a command prompt or a terminal. So you can see I'm in command prompt here on Windows, and then to simply just type Ollama. If you do this, you should get some kind of output, and if you see that, it means that you've installed Ollama correctly. At this point, I'll assume that you have this installed correctly and that this command gave.
And if you're struggling installing it, talk to ChatGPT, show it your screenshots, show it everything. Like I said, I showed that in my second video, I believe, or third video, I believe, in this series on how to do that. So if you're running into downloading problems, or if you're confused on what's going on, ask ChatGPT or ask Claude AI, and they'll help you out. But I showed that in my third video, I think, in this series. So find that video about how to use like ChatGPT and Claude AI and LLMs and stuff like that to troubleshoot.
You some kind of output, and now what we can do is start running models. So the first thing to look at is the different models that we have access to with Ollama. Now, truthfully, you have access to pretty much any open source model you want, and you can even write some custom configurations to use your own models or things that you pull in from something like Hugging Face. Now, if you go to the Ollama GitHub repository, which I will link down below, you can see some of the common models that you may want to download. Now, keep in mind that since you are running these locally, you will need to download the entire model, and you'll need to have enough space on your computer. You can see some of these are 43 gigabytes, for example, and enough RAM to run and load the model depending on how large it is. So you see, if we look through here,
And if you don't know how to do that, YouTube search how to find that information for the kind of computer you have. And if you don't know from there, use ChatGPT or Claude AI to walk you through the process of how to figure out how much space you have on your PC and how much VRAM you have, right? Which is pretty easy to find, in my opinion. Space is you just open your Windows Explorer, and then you just go to this PC, and you'll see the amount of space you have left free. But it might not be for everybody's PC, and if you have a Mac, it might be a different situation. So just look into that yourself, okay?
it defines the number of parameters for these models. If we look at something like Llama 3.1, we have 231 gigabytes and 405 billion parameters. And if you go down here to this note, it specifies how many gigabytes of RAM you should have based on the different model parameters. So even on my computer, which has 64 gigabytes of RAM, it would be difficult to load the new Llama 3.1 model with the 405 billion parameters. So keep that in mind when you are choosing the models that you want to use. For now, I'm just going to go with the standard Llama 2 model because this is older and it's not as large, and I know that I can run it and most of you should be able to run it as well. So I'm going to show you how we can pull that. But if you're looking for a list of all of the models you have available, you can go to the Ollama library. So if you go to ollama.com/library, and you can scroll through here and you'll see there are hundreds of different models. You can sort them, you can filter, and you can find even multimodal models that accept things like video, photos, voice, etc. So once you've decided on a model that you'd like to run, it's very simple to do so. All you need to do is type Ollama, run, and then the identifier of that model. Now in my case, I just want to run Llama 2. I know this is an outdated model. I'm just doing it because it's smaller. So I can simply type Ollama, run Llama 2. And if this model is not already installed on my system, then it will download it and install it for me. If it is already installed, it's just going to bring up a prompt where it allows me to actually start typing to the model and messaging with it. So notice here that it's just loading and it kind of gives me these 3 arrows, and I can just start typing something to the model and get some kind of response. And you can see that it's pretty much instant because there's no latency. It's running on my own machine. Now again, if this wasn't already installed, it would start pulling the model for you, and then you would have to wait for it to finish. It would install, then you can run the model and you can start using it. Now after some experimentation, it's told me that you can
Keep in mind the download might take a while, so just be mindful of that.
type /by to get out of this. So if I type /by, you can see that it will then close this window. And then if we want, we can type Ollama and then list, and we can list the different models that we have available on our system. In this case, you can see I have Llama 2, which is the latest version. If I had any other models, they would show up here. So that's the basics on running models using Ollama, but there's a lot more to show you, so make sure you stick around after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video.
I'm skipping the sponsor. I appreciate him very much.
So we are continuing here, and I want to show you what happens when you pull multiple models. So again, if we go back to the library, we can start looking through different models that we may want to utilize. Maybe I can even just go back here to the GitHub if I want to find them a little bit easier. And maybe I want to use the Mistral model as well. If that's the case, I can just copy this command or the name Mistral. I can go back here. I can simply run the command Ollama run Mistral. It will then pull that manifest for me, pull the model. Once that's finished, I'll be able to use this, and I'll show you how. So it looks like this has been downloaded, and now I can start using the model if I want. I can exit out of this, and if I want to switch between the two different models, again, I just type Ollama run, and then I can specify the model that I want to use. So if I want to go back to Llama 2, I use Llama 2. If I want to go back to Mistral, I just type Mistral, and now I can start using Mistral. So you can have as many models as you want, and again, you can list them by typing Ollama list, and if you want all of the commands you can use, simply type Ollama, and then it will show you which ones you have access to. There's a lot of them. For example, you can also remove a model if you want to do that, copy a model. There's also customizations you can make to them, which I'll show you in just one second. All right, so all of that is great, but we probably want to know how to utilize.
I'm going to skip ahead this part, and I'm going to go to the simplest way to run this stuff.
A lot of you probably don't want to write all of this code. So instead, we can use a very simple module from Python called, you guessed it, Ollama. So if you're using Python.
So if you want to follow along with this part of the video, write down everything text by text. Most likely you're going to need an API key to run this. Actually, no. Whoa, I'm wrong. You don't need an API key because it's local. Got you there. I got you there for a second. But yeah, copy this word for word and then see what they're doing. And you can play around with this prompt right here. You can change that to be whatever you want. And this is just the model name of the models you have downloaded. So whatever models you have downloaded, you put the name of the one you want to use for this kind of like response system, and then you're good to go. Very, very simple.
Python or JavaScript, there are packages that will do this for you. So you can simply pip install Ollama, or pip3 install Ollama in your system so that you have this module, and now you have access to the Ollama module. You can simply create a client, you can define your model, you can define some kind of prompt, and then you can use client.generate, specify the model and the prompt, and then you can grab the response. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show this to you. I can run this code with Python package.py, and you will see here in just one second that we should be able to get the response. Okay, and there you go, we get the response and it gives us the answer. So that is how you use the HTTP API. Now I'm going to show you.
Yeah, and just to break it down line for line for you guys, this creates a client. Essentially, the best way to explain this, it creates a pipeline from you typing to the model on your PC. It just creates like a bridge for you guys to talk to, right? Like now it's like a phone call, right? This sets up the phone call. So it's like ring, ring, ring. Like this will ring the phone of the model on your PC, right? Pretending you both have phones, right? Cool. Model tells you which model you want to use. Prompt is the question or command you have that you want to ask to the local model. Response is the model, after you ask a question and command, it's going to send back a response. And that response, this is the response. It's just packaged up into like a variable called response, right? And then you just print what that response is, right? Printing it means that you can see what the model said via text, okay? That's pretty much how it works. Very simple.
How you can do some customizations to the models in.
As a matter of fact, when I'm watching that customization part, because that's unnecessary. So, pretty much it for this video. Now, remember, guys, the way that this works is a lot of this stuff you can do with PyCharm, right? At PyCharm here, you can use Jupyter Notebook. You can use, this is Jupyter Notebook and stuff like that, and you can use Replit as well to try messing with this. But yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. If you want to learn AI one-on-one with me, I'll walk you through the whole process. You don't have to download this stuff. I'll download it for you. I'll show you how to download it on your specific PC, how to find all the information. If you want one-on-one AI coaching, AI teaching, if you want me to teach it to your department at work, you want me to teach it to your whole company, if you want me to teach it to your kid, stuff like that, reach out to me. My email is somewhere in the description below of this video, and I will do that. I've been an AI engineer for 7 years. Sounds confusing. I'll explain the whole background story later. But yeah, so if you want somebody you can trust to help you with all this, navigate this whole AI space, I am gonna be here to help you guys with that. So, but that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys very much. Peace.